If you own a shop, this is the only podcast that's going to tell you the truth.
Welcome to the Operator's Table. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode. We are glad you joined us. Today, we're going to have a pretty fun topic we're going to talk about. But first, my week, I had a great week. Work was busy. I can't wait for the weekend finally because I'm going to be going to the lake as I try to as much as I can in the summer. Hopefully I don't get as burnt as I did last time because that wasn't too fun. How was your week?
Yeah, man, it's been crazy for me. I'm in the thick of it between all four companies I got going on. It's definitely prime time of the year for me. We are actually going to hit probably our largest month in company history for White Glove Auto. We may actually do about $250,000 this month, so it's going to be pretty crazy, man.
Nice.
Yeah, just for White Glove.
Yeah.
So, anyway, yeah, that's how it went.
Yeah, so this week we are going to be talking about a topic of transparency. So, obviously, people probably have different opinions on this, and that's perfectly fine. You can run your business however you want to run it. We're going to be talking about transparency and essentially what should the owner keep to himself or herself? What should the owner tell the management team if they have one? And what should the owner tell everyone in the company? So that's the goal. How about first, Myron, you kind of describe transparency and what you see transparency as?
Yeah, so transparency is going to be, if you're looking in the terms of a business, right? You have so many different things that are happening within the business, and you have to figure out what you need to just keep to yourself as an owner, or if you have managers, who to tell your managers so that they understand and kind of can work with you and help alleviate any type of load that might be happening. And then, or what topics do you tell your team? And, that transparency can really, depending on what all you say and who you say it to, can really dictate the outcome of your culture, people in your business and their attitudes. And you can dictate a lot of stuff, and it can really make a lot of burning fires if you talk about the wrong things to the wrong people.
Yep. No, I agree. And we've both seen it. I've seen it obviously working for you. So, all right. Well, first I wrote down a couple pros and cons of transparency and why this is pretty much pros and cons of if the owner told everyone in the business all the info, what the pros are. And this could be all the info, or this could be like a majority of it. But so for pros, it builds trust. Another pro, it negates rumors, right? It also makes difficult decisions easier to swallow if you kind of know some stuff that's going on. And you're not blindsided by some decisions. So that could be some pros of why maybe an owner would want to tell everyone something. Cons, unnecessary stress and anxiety. If people obviously know more than they should, and it may not even matter at the end if the ownership or managers take care of whatever it is. Info may be misunderstood. We've had some of that before.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll get into that probably at a later time, but it creates expectations. We've also dealt with that before, where employees are told one thing and now they're kind of like expecting what they were told, even though maybe it was spoken to soon or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then the biggest con, I think, is it's a distraction to employees.
Yes.
They start thinking about everything. They're pretty much thinking of everything like the owner should be, and that's the owner's job.
Yeah.
So those are my pros and cons. Thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think that's spot on. Exactly what you said. And, it's just like what you said really hit the nail on the head. And that is, don't try to make your team know everything you do, because that's not really their responsibility to know everything that you do.
They got a job. Everyone has a job to do. Yes. Everyone has a job. So, all right, well, let's get into it. So we're going to do a little game here. This is how we're going to kind of discuss transparency and maybe different scenarios. So what we're going to do is we got little whiteboards here. I'm going to go over 10 different topics. we are going to write down on here. I'm going to say a topic, and both of me and Myron are going to write the word owner if we think that this topic should only be known by the owner. We can write management, or we'll just write managers, whatever. We'll get it. If this is a topic that we think the owner should just tell the managers, and then we could just write everyone. If we think this topic can be discussed with everyone in the business, and then we'll kind of talk about each one. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. All right. So the first one we're going to do is business finances. Okay, that's going to be outgoing money. So money that the business is spending on whatever it is.
So
I guess
outgoing money in general, what you're spending money on, what your bills are.
what your bills are, your marketing budget, your whatever it is. Yes. So who should know that? Okay. Oh, and keep in mind too, this is from, if you have different levels of management, you can still put management as an answer, even if it's just one manager versus two managers versus three, depending on how many levels of management you have.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. You got your answer?
I do.
All right, let's flip it. Show the screen. What do we got? All right, manager. Manager. Oh, here, I'll put an R.
Man, that's your first one. You're already misspelling
There we go.
things,
All right.
dude.
All right, so we both got manager. Myron, why did you pick manager?
Yeah, so I think it's very important for the manager team to kind of understand the costs of business, because these are things that you need to have your managers understand so that they can watch out for certain things happening within the business and understand when something could be costing you more money, or maybe we have a little bit more room somewhere to where maybe we could buy something or whatever it is. It's just a good understanding for them to understand what to watch for within a business.
And on my end of it, being a manager, it helps you stay focused and understand the goals.
Yeah, of course.
If you know you have a certain amount of, like you said, if there's a certain amount of budgeting we have for something, I could use that to my advantage when I talk to certain employees, whether it's sales team or shop team. So, 100%, I think that's a pretty easy one. Now, keep in mind also, I'm hoping we have the same answers. Right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll say that, I've got Mitch here as my store manager who leads not only White Glove Auto, but Clearview of Tulsa. And, of course, I put him in this position because I felt like me and him see eye to eye on most of these things. And so I'm hoping that we have pretty much the same answers on everything, because that tells me that we do align kind of like what I'm thinking. Now, if there is a single topic that we maybe think differently on, that's not bad. But as long as it's, the majority is pretty close, that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, we'll just have a fist fight out back over here if we're no, okay. All right, next topic. Business sales. So business sales, incoming money. So how much money we're making as a business from all our different revenue streams that we have for the business.
Yes.
All right. All right. I got my answer. All right, let's flip it. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Yep. All right. We got the same answer again. I feel like this one's pretty similar to the last one, where, again, you want your managers, I assume, to...
Of course, you want them to know how well the company's doing,
Right.
because that also kind of correlates with how well your managers are doing.
Yep.
Right. So it kind of, you tell your managers what you want as a goal for the business financially, and your managers are supposed to be trying to get your business to that goal. And so you want them to understand what that number is.
Yep. I think as a manager also, if you have a set number that you see coming in every month of revenue, you want to grow on that, right?
Yeah.
You want like a baseline. Okay, this month we did this much. We're going to work harder, especially going into the summer months.
Yeah.
You want to see that number go up. You want to know what that number is, because it ensures you that you're doing the right thing and you're not taking a step backwards. If you have no idea how much money's coming in, you're managing, but you don't know if you don't see the results.
Exactly.
The results is that revenue.
Now,
coming
why
in?
do you not tell your team?
Okay. Why don't you tell the team? Because the team, okay, let's try that again. Are you referring to sales team or shop team? Because in a way, I think the sales team. So I guess I really could have put. Well, I guess we don't have a category for just sales. We have everyone. I think the sales team should also know what they're doing, and obviously they should know. They're the ones selling.
Well, they're going to know because, like, at least in our company, we have leaderboards up, so
Right.
they can see what everybody is selling
Yeah,
every month, so
that's
they
true.
know what money's being sold.
Yeah,
every
and I
month,
guess,
right?
and I don't know if obviously not all shops do this, but if you're a salesperson for White Glove, because you have a leaderboard, you can also tell what the other person's selling. You just obviously combine that, and there's our
let me
sales.
kind of break this down real quick.
Yeah.
So when we talk about revenue and trying to keep that within the manager group,
Yeah.
what I am talking about is not only just the pure gross number of revenue, but the amount of profit that you have, and speaking on how much cash flow in general the business has. That's something
Okay.
that can stay within the business.
Okay, so yeah, if you include cash flow and you include profitability, yes, I don't think everyone should know this. I think the managers need to know this because again, they're focused on making the manager is essentially an extension of you, right?
Yeah.
You delegate different things to different managers. The shop manager, for example, for their company needs to know what the revenue, the money coming in looks like because that'll tell him what the production is in the shop because that's essentially what makes you the money is
Yeah.
the shop. And the sales manager needs to know what the money coming in is because his guys are selling.
Yeah.
So I don't think the shop employees really need to know all that stuff, especially not profitability, because then things come up. Oh, if the company makes X amount of money, why
Yeah.
are you not paying me more?
Yeah.
Even though they don't fully understand how it all works. It's
Yeah.
not just, oh, there's, I don't know, let's use an example, $50,000 a month that we're, profiting or whatever. It's like, well, you have plenty of money to pay me, but they don't see all the other expenses that go into it too.
Yeah.
They don't see
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, right? Because that's where everybody who's not a business owner or even really a manager doesn't understand the type of expenses a business really has.
Yeah.
And the war chest that they have to build up to ensure that they can overcome any obstacles that come down the road. And, a lot of employees are just like, oh man, I know this business is profiting, $100,000 a month. They can afford to pay me. Well, I mean, maybe technically, yes, but at the same time, the business needs to set aside so much money to ensure that they are consistently growing and opening up more opportunities down the road for the business. Because if the business's main goal is to grow, maybe you need to have money as a business to open up another shop, or maybe a lawsuit comes your way and you need money for that now, or whatever it is, right?
Or upgrading your shop or
That's
whatever.
that's what a war chest is. That's what you're building up, is stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the next topic, and that is going to be company goals. So the goals for the shop and goals for sales. So what the goal is for the company. Maybe it's a 1-year goal. Maybe it's a 5-year goal. But just company goals in general. All right. All right.
Company goals in general.
Ready? All right. Let's flip it. Everyone, the whole team. There we
The
go. Okay.
whole
Yep.
team.
So why?
Well, obviously, again, whenever you clarify the goals of your company, where you want to be as a company, maybe certain targets that you want to hit, how big of a company you want to be, do you want to have multiple locations, all of this stuff is something you want to instill in your team so that everybody understands the end goal, and what everybody's trying to push towards, and what the meaning is of being there and working. Like, what are we working towards here? Or is this kind of a dead end road, or we're not going nowhere?
And this extends also out to new employees that you want to hire.
Yeah.
Because people who want to grow with a business want to know where it's going.
I'll tell you right now that one of the biggest things that I've heard from most employees that are hired is they want to understand the game plan for the company and understand where we're going. Because I have heard also, from several people that they don't want to work for a company that's not going anywhere or isn't going to create additional opportunities to grow or anything like that.
You want your employees to give a shit.
Yeah,
You want them to be like, okay, I need.
They're not going to care if there's nowhere for them to go.
Well, if a company's not growing, no one's getting paid more, right? These employees want to be able to work up the ranks.
For us, exactly. Like, as we grew into manager positions, and we get more manager positions and lead positions, and more positions open up and bigger opportunities for responsibility and more pay, and that's what people want to see. And I think that's what a lot of people want to try to work for. They don't want to just sit there and be like, oh, I'm a film installer for the next 80 years until I die.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it. I think if you set goals, these people can see that, okay, I have an opportunity here.
Yeah.
You don't set those goals, no one knows how well they're doing if you're on the way there, and you want to give updates to your team.
Yeah.
Be like, hey guys, we're trying to reach this much revenue each month, or maybe our goal, or it could be also as simple as our goal is to get another printer in the shop.
Yeah.
That's we have a goal of getting this stuff. Let's work towards that, right?
Yeah.
So people also will, they'll see that, okay, man, we really do need another printer, or another plotter, whatever it is, and it's like, okay, let's keep working here. Okay, we're getting closer. We just got a new plotter. Good. We knew this was coming. We were working on it, and we got it. So
exactly.
I think it's very important to communicate all your goals to your entire team.
Again, guys,
everyone on the same page.
Your goals within your company is what's also going to set your culture and what you're looking for. You always have to look for what you want to be whenever, wherever you're heading. You want to know what that is. You want everybody to know what that vision is. That way everybody can start preparing for it. If you don't know what that vision is, if you don't know what that goal is, nobody's really working towards anything, and nothing's ever going to grow or get better. You're just kind of stuck.
Yep. All right. The next one, employee compensation. So essentially, should the owner be okay with everyone under him knowing what the other person next to them makes? All right. Who should know how much money everyone in the business makes? All right, you ready?
Yep.
Let me close this marker. I don't know how long these markers last. All right, ready? All right. Another match.
Yeah.
Managers. I think the managers need to understand how much everyone makes, because they're talking to their employees separately, having conversations, reaching their personal goals within the company. Very important for managers to know. And other employees do not need to know what the employee next to them makes, because that's just going to get in their head. It's going to cause drama. There's so much negativity, in my opinion.
Yes, of course. And, there's nothing stopping the team from talking about that with each other.
Oh, for sure.
Right? If they want to share their own pay, structure with somebody else, then, that's on them.
You can't control it.
But, as an owner or as a manager, we're not publicly just telling everybody what everybody makes.
No, because the people who are less experienced in the shop, or maybe don't make as much money yet in the shop, they may feel like they're, they're going to feel like they're at a disadvantage. Like, oh man, it sucks that this guy's making more money. I know he's better, but now when you see the numbers and when you see what the checks look like, or the hourly rate, however you pay, it could definitely bring them down, I think. And that's not important. Yeah. Now, in our shop, you don't even need to see how much money the guy next to you is making. You can look at their labor hours. We have a leaderboard that shows how many hours of labor each person completes every week.
Yeah.
So you can make a really good assumption already that, okay, I'm at 50 hours. This guy's at 80. He's making more money than me because he's working harder. And that's all it is.
Yes.
It's a work ethic thing. So.
Yeah, right. In our shop, exactly. We have a leaderboard that kind of shows everybody hours. But it doesn't necessarily tell people how much they're getting paid per that flag hour.
No, but
right?
you do get an assumption.
But, of course. Yeah, everybody knows what the minimum is. Yeah. So everybody can kind of judge it on the base minimum and then add a little bit to it and be like, oh, they're probably right around that range. That's crazy.
Which is, by the way, guys, that's kind of why we like the leaderboard. It's like, it stops all that drama, the secrecy of oh, I wonder how much he makes, and it's not. You kind of already, you have the leaderboard. You kind of get a good idea. So it maybe, hopefully, I'm hoping it stops some of that.
It kind of gets them close, but it doesn't tell them exactly.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yep, exactly. So, all right, cool. All right.
And of course, a lot of times we don't want the the team to understand how much managers make or anything like that either. Or I think that's kind of all secrecy within each other. Yeah. I mean, even managers, between managers, they should keep that to themselves.
Yep.
Just because even within your manager group, that can create controversy and a lot of negativity.
Yeah, it's a very sensitive thing here. The whole pay thing, I think, is pretty sensitive, depending on kind of employees you have and their personalities. But, and by the way, guys, if you disagree with us on any of this, I would love to hear it.
Yeah,
please comment. I want to see what you guys have to say. I'm really curious how
I want to argue with everybody.
Yes, he just wants to argue. There you go. There you go. All right. All right. The next one, that was employee compensation. Now we're going to do owner compensation. I think it's a pretty explanatory thing. Who should know how much the owner makes? Can't believe I just misspelled owner. Hold on a minute. Typo. All right.
Second time now. Only you didn't publicly show this one.
It wasn't owner. What was it? What did I misspell? I can't
Manage.
remember. Was it manage? Oh, yeah. Wait, it was on the... I think it was on the podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you showed it.
All right. Yeah, that's right. All right. Cut that out. Okay. All right. All right. Ready?
Yeah.
All right. What do we got? Owner. Yep. Only the owner should know. This is... I personally can't stress this enough. I don't think it's anyone's business how much an owner of a company makes, because usually it's, obviously there should be a big gap between what people make and the owner makes, depending on the position you're in, whatever it is, whatever your scenario is. It's no one's business.
Yeah. It's 100% nobody's business. And I think Mitch even has like personal examples of working for other shops that owners have, flaunted their money or whatever else. And that's something that you shouldn't be doing. That you don't do that to your team, and you keep that personal to yourself. You definitely you don't discuss what you make as an owner, and it's not really anybody's business but your own. I think everybody can kind of safely assume that you make more money than everybody, and
should
leave it at that.
Yeah.
In the beginning years of the business, everybody made more money than me. I was broke as shit. But yeah, now, 12 years later, it's the opposite. I make more than everybody else. And that's to be expected, I think, by everybody. Or at least I assume it's expected by everybody, especially if I drive up to work in a Lamborghini or my NSX or, whatever it is.
I mean, that's one little example right there. You drove he had a purple Lambo that you drove to work, and then employees are like, oh, must be nice, this and that. It's like, okay, like, fuck, he's the fucking owner. Like,
yeah,
let him, like, spend
I think
the money how he wants to spend.
I think we even had an employee quit probably a couple months after I had the Lambo. And he was like, I want to go out and get my own Lamborghini, And it's like, you get, that's the undertone there. You understand what he's saying.
Yeah. I don't think it's anyone's business. And then, man, if you're an owner and you aren't sure if you want to share that, if people are like asking you or hinting at it, don't do it. It's going to cause so much drama. We've experienced that ourselves.
Yeah.
I've seen it in shops too, where owners will, discuss these things regularly with people, like, oh, this was a good month for the business. I took this much home.
Yeah.
It's like you get too comfortable, and then it becomes that thing where the owners are like friends with their employees, and you have to separate yourself.
Yeah.
Because they know too much about your personal life, and it's like, stay away from it.
For me, obviously, as an owner, I think there's only a certain amount you can do to keep things private for yourself. Obviously for me, I'm in the car business and I love cars. And I think one thing that's going to always be telling for me is what kind of car I'm driving.
Sure.
You can just judge off of that, and that's all you really need. It's like, I try to keep everything else private. My house is private. Everything I do at my house
jet is private.
Oh yeah. My private jet's private. Yeah.
Your jet is private.
Yeah. No, I fly on other people's planes.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
But anyway, it's just, I try to keep that to myself because, nobody needs to know that.
He flies in other people's planes.
I even get, because I have like my media editor from the shop, who, his name's Jason, actually, by the way. I give credit to him because he's an awesome editor.
Yes.
But, it's even weird for me, like having him over to my house because now he sees what my house is and he sees what I have. And, I think to a degree he understands, right? That it's to be expected. But it's weird to me. Like, I'm not comfortable showing that side of myself to my employees. But, I do actually have a lot of trust in Jason. And so I'm more okay with that.
Yeah.
But, it should be weird for you to want to, as an owner, to like brag about the money to your employees. Like, I don't know.
I mean, it's not even an owner though. It's like if you're in management too.
Yeah, right. I mean, management.
I just, that whole thing is weird,
I mean, you just bought a yacht.
Yeah.
And you don't like flaunt
my
that
private
around.
yacht. Yeah. No, I just ride on other people's yachts. Yeah. Yeah, I ride on other people's yachts. Like Royal Caribbean is a buddy of mine. I take his yacht. Okay. All right, back to it. Next one, customer complaints. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. All right. Customer complaints. We which hopefully you guys out there don't have too many, but everyone gets them no matter what you do.
The bigger you get, the more you'll have.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
just
ready?
statistics.
All right.
Yep. Team.
Yep, that's everyone. All right. Tell us, Myron, why? Why is everyone?
Well, I mean, when it comes to customer complaints, that's going to be one of the biggest things. You want to make sure you communicate with your team because that's how you grow. Okay, there's a lot of times here where, or a lot of examples I've heard throughout the years of people getting complaints in their own company, but they don't tell their team because they don't want to make them feel bad, or they don't want them to be stressed out by it. But you're being a bad owner, you're being a bad leader by not communicating these issues that customers have, because how is your team going to get better if you're not communicating what the issues are? So you're doing yourself a disservice, the company a disservice.
100%.
And that's going to be one of the things that really drives your growth, is having the entire team understand what your weaknesses are and try to improve on it.
100%. Everyone should be aware of the mistakes they make. It doesn't matter what level in the business you are. Employee, because a customer complaint could be about someone in the management team.
Yeah.
Talking to them rudely.
Yeah.
It could be an employee messing something up on a vehicle. A customer can complain about an owner not dealing with things correctly on his end.
Yeah.
I mean, I think people should be aware of what's going on. If an employee at any level in the business makes a mistake, it's okay to bring that stuff up, because I think, again, accountability, right? We're not trying to, like, at least with us, we're not trying to, like, not show any bad stuff to other people about the, like, we're honest.
Yeah.
We make a mistake. Yeah. The company made a mistake. It doesn't matter who it is. This is a team here. It's not we're not pointing someone out like, hey, you messed up. Like, we're going to make everyone hear that you messed up. No. We don't even bring things up that way. No. We'll bring things up in the morning huddles that we have every morning if there are any complaints. We will say, hey, yesterday a customer came here and we made this mistake. It's a we thing. It's not an I thing. It's a we thing. So,
and mistakes are normal, guys. I mean, nobody's perfect out there. We're all humans, right? And the more you grow, the more mistakes you're going to have. And, for us, for example, right, when we were smaller, and we were doing, 10 cars a week or whatever it was, very rarely would we ever have a customer get pissed off about something and want to come back, or, raise hell over something, right? It was rare. And it was so rare where I actually myself felt like super high and mighty of myself. Like, man, we're fucking fantastic over here. Yeah. Not the same way whenever you start adding employees and you start growing. It doesn't stay that way. As a company, right now, we do 35 to 45 cars a week. And on average, I would say we probably piss off at least one person a week. And that's realistic. I mean, it's just going to happen. And it's about how you resolve that issue with the customer is what matters. I was going to
say. It's how you handle it.
Yeah, just remember, we talked about this in a previous episode. It's all about how you handle that customer complaint. And we will actually dive into that topic more.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about that shortly, so stick around for that episode. All right. The next one we have is hiring and firing plans. So if you plan on bringing someone on board, if you plan on getting rid of someone, who should know? Who should you tell about those hiring and firings? All right, I am ready. Ready?
Yep.
All right, what do we got? Yep, managers.
Yes.
Why managers only?
Well, I mean, I would say this is common sense, but maybe a lot of people out there don't see that. And, what's common sense to me might not be common sense to somebody else. But, you don't want to, say you have a team of 5 people and you have one person that's like sticking out like a sore thumb and they need to be fired, right?
Yep.
You don't go and have a meeting with the other teams or have private conversations with individuals and say, hey, yeah, my plan is to fire this person, here in the next couple of weeks. You don't do that.
No.
Because that starts to stir negativity.
Ruins your culture.
Ruins culture. That you don't know how close that employee is with that other person that you're about to fire. You don't know. And even if you think you know, you don't know. So it's best to just keep quiet. And it's always it's bad business just to be talking about stuff like that to
I
your
agree.
employees.
It's
It's
not the
not
right
what
way
you
to do
do,
it, no.
right? It's going to get that if that word gets around to that employee who's going to be fired, who knows what that person's going to do? They might be starting to steal your company data. They might be trying to get, whatever they can from you before, because they know what's coming now, right? So they're going to try to get something over on you before, they're out the door,
Yep.
whatever it is, right? You're opening the door for more potential like lawsuits or issues down the road or whatever it is by leaking that data out to your team.
Yep. And on the flip side, when you're hiring someone, I also don't think you should be telling everyone who you're hiring, because an employee, let's say for example, if you tell someone you're about to hire a new window tinner, your current window tinners may feel a certain type of way. They
Yeah.
may feel like, hey, I'm getting replaced.
Yeah.
Where it could just, usually when we're adding people on, it's because we're growing.
Yeah.
And we need to fill that role. We have too much tint coming in. Our window tinners are great, but they can't do all the work. We're never going to hire someone and I'm hoping other people are the same way. We're never going to hire someone if it's going to take away from the amount of labor hours our current tinners can get.
Yeah.
We will only hire on a new person in the shop or sales if we feel like we are losing too much business because of it, or we can't maintain everything we're getting.
And like you said, it's kind of a mind game too. You get people thinking. So it's like if you are in your morning huddle, and let's use a tinter example again, right? And you're like, hey guys, we are currently looking for a new tinner to bring onto the team. And, this is just somebody who's going to be an addition to the team or whatever. You can say whatever spiel you want to say, right?
Yep.
The tinters that you have now are not going to have, like, they're going to just instantly think the worst case scenario. Like, oh my God.
They're going to start taking work from me.
Is it, yeah. Are
Is
they
it
going to
me?
start taking work from me? Is it me? Am I getting replaced? And their head starts going. And I know what you guys are probably thinking is like, well, they're going to think that whenever you hire them and when you bring them on and they just show up one day. Well, not so much. You're saving them like however many weeks.
Yeah, it's the
of
lead
negativity.
up.
Right.
It's the lead up. It's not once they're in the shop, like on day one. Every time we hire someone, the morning huddle is at 7:30 a.m. for us. We show up to the huddle, and then you have a new guy or girl walk into the huddle, and they're just there. We introduce that person for the first time to everyone. No one knew they were coming, but then you're right to work. It's like you don't have time to think. And then let's say again, we're going to continue on with the tinner example. The tinners get to their work and they see there's added work for this new guy.
Yes.
It's not like I'm telling my current tinner to, hey, you're not tinning this car now. He is or she is. They automatically see that, okay, we're bringing in enough work today to fill everyone's hours.
Yeah.
Also, our employees can look at their own schedules. Yep. They can look at their own schedules in our case on their phone app, and they can see every bit of work they have coming in for forever. They can look out as far as they want.
Yeah.
And as long as it's on our schedule under their name, they'll see it. So these guys, our employees should rest assured that they could see their schedule still full. It's not like, man, I got an empty day now because of the new guy.
Yeah.
So no, for sure. I think there's no need to tell anyone about it. It causes drama. Maybe and also whenever we hire someone, we're taking into account the personality that we have in our shop and how our culture is, how our atmosphere is. We're never going to bring anyone on who is going to ruin that culture, that atmosphere. We're going to bring on personalities that will mesh with others in the shop. We're not always perfect. We screw up. Sometimes we get a personality in the shop and it doesn't work out. Well, we're going to take care of the guys who have been there longer. Like if the new person is not going to work out, that new person's going. We're not going to ruin what we have. So, so in our case, I don't think it's that big of a deal to not tell anyone because we're not going to screw anyone over.
Right.
So, all right. Next topic we got 10 total topics here, guys, by the way. We are on number whatever, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 3 more. All right. Operational changes. How do you want to do this one, Myron? What are we going to talk about with operational changes?
So operational changes. This is going to be, let's say you have procedures. Let's say you have checklists, SOPs, whatever you want to call it. And when there's operational changes, it's usually something to do with that. Something to do within your daily operations that's going to be changing. And who do you want to tell?
Okay. Got it. I'm with you now. good. Who do you tell?
It's kind of a tough one for me, actually. I'll get into it. I'm gonna write down my first response, and then I'll get into it. Okay.
You ready?
Yep.
All right. That, by the way, that just tells me it's going to be different. Yep, I knew it. I was already thinking what you were thinking as you said it. And I know why, too, by the way. Mm-hmm. I think I know why, but we'll get into it. All right.
So,
yeah, you go.
Whenever you think of operational changes, you're probably typically thinking it's going to affect your entire workplace. But that's false, right? You could have operational changes just for your managers. You could have operational changes just for your sales team or just for your shop team. Does the entire team, the entire building need to know about these operational changes if it doesn't have to do with them? No. If it does not affect, like if I'm changing something for the sales team and it does not affect the shop team in any way whatsoever, they don't need to know.
So did you just write team because it's some team members that'll know, not everyone?
Yeah, I think because it can filter down to being the entire team.
Either way, my argument is still fine. I still have my fair share to talk about. But either way, okay, gotcha. So even if it's a part of your team, you still wrote team, even if it's just the sales team.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the reason I wrote managers is because I think that when you are discussing, you as an owner, you're talking to the management team about, okay, we're going to make these changes, right? Maybe there was a couple of things that came up in the shop that kind of caught your eye. And you're like, okay, I'm seeing a consistent pattern here of something that needs to change. Maybe a procedure, maybe something on the checklists. I am against telling employees too soon because just like the last hiring firing thing, if they start seeing, okay, we're going to have, and they're thinking of, adding another step to a procedure we're already doing, then they're going to sit on it and they're going to think about it in their minds. Like, okay, now I have another step I'm going to have to do every day. It's more time spent. They may not fully understand yet because we have not gone over why we're doing it.
Yeah.
So I think you stick with the management team, you explain to the managers, and then when it's time to reveal what that change is, you in that same breath, in that same conversation, you can explain why you're doing it so employees don't sit in on it themselves.
Well, that's exactly right? It's still the same thing as the hiring, firing. It's whether it's for the managers or for the team, a lot of times it's always best just to drop that news on them last minute, right? It's like right whenever you want to make the change, you make it, and it's already a thing on everybody's checklist. It's already added on there. And then in the morning huddle, you're like, hey guys, just so you guys know, this has now been added to this, or this checklist has changed, or you have a new checklist, or whatever it is. And here's why. And, you want to explain that all together at one time. Yeah, you don't want to pre-tell your team that, hey, there's going to be operational changes coming on your checklist. Stay tuned. Like that's just something.
Sorry, are you changing your answer?
No.
You would still tell the team?
No. I'm saying when I say tell a team, right? I'm saying tell a team, as in if there's a change, you want to tell them, right? I'm not saying you pre-tell them.
Oh well, yeah, that's kind of okay.
That's pretty much what you're saying.
Okay.
Right? You're saying, it should just be the manager thing,
yes.
And then whenever it becomes a real thing, when it's actually like time to actually do it, then you tell your team.
Okay, I guess I maybe misunderstood what to write down then for the scenario. Okay, because I'm saying like the manager should just know before it's actually applied, and then obviously, I think when you apply it, you talk to everyone about it.
Okay, so there's probably two different viewpoints here. That's
probably what it was.
Now, from your aspect, yes. I mean, when an operational change needs to happen, especially when it has to do with like the team, or your manager, like the team that's under your specific manager or whatever it is. Of course, it's good to probably let them know that, hey, something's going to be changing, because your manager should be voicing concerns to you, and you need to address these concerns, and you let them know, hey, this is going to change, we're going to fix it. And that kind of gives them a heads up, right? So, I mean, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it could be other changes too. Like, again, this is just operational changes. Maybe we're changing our hours of the day.
Yeah.
Maybe, for us, we have, 4-day work weeks. 4 10s essentially, so maybe that's changing or whatever. But I that's my point of view is you don't tell the team until they're ready to actually make the change.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, next one, company acquisition. Acquisition. There we go.
Are you selling your company?
Yes. Are you selling your company? Or it's not even, are you selling your company? But it could be, I think we should do it as, if someone reached out and is looking at potentially buying, not just like the company sold, but if you're entertaining it at all.
Yeah, exactly.
If there's any kind of interest in the
any
company.
sort of interest whatsoever.
Yeah, any interest.
Yeah.
Okay. This one's tricky. Not as tricky, maybe, but all right.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna put. I haven't put anything down yet. I'm thinking. Okay. All right. Got it.
I feel like we're gonna be different on this. I don't know.
Let's see. Ready?
Uh-huh.
All right, go.
All right. Okay.
Same.
Oh, we got
it. Yeah. All right. No. I definitely think. Look, I mean, you're the owner, but I think that yes, you have managers, but those people also have feelings. They also feel a certain type of way with certain info. Obviously, if you're, at least from my perspective as a manager, I think if you let me know that, okay, there could be some movement here, or there could be a change of ownership, it makes people feel a certain type of way. Yes, you're the manager, but listen, I'm still working under someone, and you never know what that new someone is going to be like.
Yeah.
Right. That's my perspective.
It creates a big uncertainty within your entire team because they all work under you. And whether you have a direct relationship with your employees or you don't, which I suggest you don't, it will affect them no matter what, because they know that for the time that they've been there, it's been a good place to work. They're happy with it. They're, happy with their pay, whatever it is, right? And then the moment you tell them that there could be an ownership change or that you're entertaining a buyout, then that's going to start creating uncertainty. And there's going to be people or somebody like, well, I don't want to, work for somebody else who owns this company, right? And then they might start looking for their jobs, looking for other opportunities, and it's going to start creating all this havoc within the company. And
for something that may not happen. I mean, again, this is just
even if you were 90% sure it was going to happen, you still don't tell nobody.
Yeah,
you don't tell nobody until it's already happened.
Yeah. And listen, I don't think some people may come off like, I mean, do you think it's like, does it sound kind of like a shitty thing to do?
I mean, here's the deal is that, it can be viewed that way, right? It can be viewed as a shitty thing for the owner to do, not to tell people, but you have to look from an owner's perspective is that you're going to potentially tear your entire company apart by announcing that news early, right? Or,
because it may not happen.
Here's the other, it may not happen. And then maybe you get people's hopes up. Maybe you're a small company, and then a corporation's going to come in and try to buy you out, and everybody's now excited because, this corporation pays more money, they have benefits, we're going to get all of that now, and then it doesn't happen, and now all their dreams are crushed, and now they're all pissed off, and it creates too many different scenarios of bad things that could happen, and I think people need to realize the position that the owner's in whenever that does happen, and the reason why they're not telling their team. It's not to be nefarious towards their team or not to disrespect their team. It's to keep everybody from freaking out, because that can ruin a deal. If you have somebody who's potentially buying you out and then you let the news out and everybody gets pissed off and you get people quitting, that could potentially kill your deal.
Of course.
And then for two, if it's a private, a publicly traded company, right? So let's just say XPEL, for instance, right? Let's say XPEL wanted to buy White Glove Auto out. They are a publicly traded company. And if that word were to get out, then that could make speculation within the stock market, right? And that can create big issues for them as a publicly traded company. Right. And, if you have a company like that looking to buy you out, they're probably going to make you sign some sort of NDA or whatever to keep you from talking about that. But, so.
But even if it's another owner like locally in town, and maybe you know the guy, maybe he had a different shop, and now you hate the guy.
Yeah.
Like, you know the guy, you know that he ran a company, and you may not like him for whatever reason. Yeah, it's just not good. You keep that stuff. And I feel like a lot of the stuff on the list here kind of falls into that category.
Yeah.
Where it creates uncertainty for certain things, and it makes people almost overreact before anything actually happens.
The only exception here that I do feel is that, like in my position and any other shop that would be in this position where they have a store manager, somebody who runs daily operations with you, and you feel like that person sees eye to eye, which is why I would hope you have them in that position in the first place.
Right.
You know, if you feel like the conversation was getting serious enough that your buyout could happen, I think it might be all right to have a private conversation with that store manager and make them sign some sort of NDA to ensure that they don't speak about it with anybody else. And, you know, just kind of show them, you know, I guess some expectation of, hey, you know, if this happens, this store is now on you, kind of thing. And I want you to be prepared for that.
Yeah.
Because essentially that store manager is your right-hand man. He's like, that's essentially the guy that you rely on the most. And so you want to make sure that they have some sort of like a heads up. You don't have to, you know, talk about the structure of the deal or how much money you're making or anything like that. But to give them a little bit of a heads up notice might be, you know, all right. But again, you have to structure it right and do an NDA or something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Makes sense. Yeah. I feel like, you know, a lot of these things that we're going through, people will probably have different opinions on it. Like, and there's probably some owners out there that'll share more info on some of these topics.
Yeah.
Where we mutually think that maybe you shouldn't.
It's
or
the same
versa.
thing even too, like when companies like, say a company, I don't know, say a company wants, they go bankrupt or they decide to close down the business. Nobody knows. One day employees will show up to work and the doors are locked.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to cause any panic beforehand.
Right.
And cause people to quit.
Yep.
Right. And make things even worse.
Yep.
And again, that's a shitty situation to be in. There's no winners in that situation. And that's just what most businesses will do.
Well, listen, this is like a, you know, it's a real topic, like transparency with all these different things. These are real situations that happen every day. People get hired, people get fired, company goals change, companies get bought out. You know, there's all these different things that happen every day. So this is like a really real thing that, you know, maybe if you have a small business and you're like, oh, I'm never gonna have to deal with any of that stuff. You will. Yeah. If you grow, you will.
If your intentions are to grow your business, you're going to deal with that, and you have to think about the future. Yep. If you're like, man, I'm not going to ever have more than 2 employees. I'm going to stay this size forever. I'm going to die in, you know, working in my own business. You know, okay, well, maybe it's a little bit different for you. You don't have to really worry about the stuff that we're talking about as much, right? But, you know, I think most people's aspirations out there are to grow their business and become bigger in some shape or form, right? Whether that's in growing their single location to 20 employees like White Glove, or growing their one location to 5 locations, or whatever it is, right? I think most people have some sort of aspiration to want to grow and be bigger. And so this would apply to you.
All right, our last one here. We're going to do company wins. So anything positive that the company has experienced. All right. All right. Who should you tell about your company wins? You ready?
Yep.
All right. Let's do it. Yeah, we are. We both put exclamation points too. That's funny. Yes, tell everyone. You want people to understand that they're doing good work and that the company is in a good spot and that someone is praising your company for something.
Yeah, listen, I mean, I think everybody wants to know whether it's a win for that specific department in your company, like the shop or the sales team or the managers or whatever it is, right? I think it's always a positive thing to share that win within the entire company, to understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody wants to know that the company is doing well. And they're like, man, my company did that. That's great. I work for that company. You know, and that's something you want to instill in your team as far as your culture goes. You know, and
we do little things like that all the time.
Yeah.
If we have a really good Google review, like a really thought out long message from the customer praising us, we will print it out. We'll bring it up at the morning huddle, and we'll read it off to the team so the team can be aware of exactly how this customer felt. And the people working on that car will feel good about it. The people, the sales team who check the customer in, walk through the work with the customer, check the customer out. They're going to feel good about it. Everyone feels good about it.
Yep.
The management feels good because they're the ones who set the employees up to succeed, to do these, these things. So I think everyone should know every win that the company gets. I feel like it's really important. It keeps morale up, gets people excited to keep working hard. I mean, I'm telling you, I've seen some of these guys in the shop. They heard some of these reviews that we read, and you can like see smiles on faces. They like, after the huddle, they spend like a minute or two talking to each other about that car. Oh man, I told you this, that, the other, whatever it is. So,
yeah, I mean, especially
really
because if you mention a review, right? People can usually pick up on what car that was they worked on, or the salespeople can pick up on what customer it was that left the review. And everybody who dealt with that specific customer or dealt with that car can now like feel really good about their work. Like, man, that customer loved that. And it makes me feel good as an installer or as the sales advisor or, whatever. And so, yeah, you want to definitely share the good reviews. That's huge.
Yep. I feel like, and that's just one thing. That's just one win, right? What about, same thing if you meet your goals for the month. If you're trying to complete 250 labor hours in the shop, for example.
Yep.
You let your team know that you completed it.
Yep.
If your sales team is trying to get to a certain, dollar amount each month, when you hit that,
if you got a social media video that hit 2 million views, that's something to share with the team. That's a win.
Yep.
If somebody were to give you a shout out, that's like a big influencer of some sort, and they give your company a shout out, that's a big win. Anything that's just out of the ordinary and it's good is usually going to be a win for your company.
Keep your morale up.
That's what you want to tell your team.
Keep morale up, keep people happy.
Now, a win that you don't share is, we just profited $100,000 this month. I took home $80,000 of that myself personally and bought myself a new jet ski. So, like you don't share that win.
No. These are daily wins within the company. That obviously, it's all finances and stuff. So, all right, well that's all of it. Listen, we've never done something like this yet before, having like little games we play. But if you guys like it, please comment, let us know. I want to know if you guys want more of this stuff, if you guys found it.
Yeah, I thought it was fun. It's different. And it kind of gives people a perspective on where our minds sit. Yep. And realistically, our minds are probably going to sit in the same answer most of the time.
Yeah.
Again, that's why I have you in the position that you're in.
Yep.
And I think because we see eye to eye on a lot of stuff.
And I'm sure we'll do this again with, different topics, and maybe we'll pick some topics that are maybe a little more controversial, which can go either way. And that might be fun too, to get like different perspectives.
Yeah.
Maybe do some stuff like that in the future. So we definitely will.
Yeah. So for now, that's another show in the books.
For sure, guys. I hope you guys enjoy this podcast. And remember, we'll see you next week. If it's not working, it's probably you. See you later.